Hello everyone, this is Sadiq here. In this video, we'll learn about how do you work with tables in Excel. So first we'll see what exactly is table in Excel. Table in Excel is a feature which helps to work with the data in a more professional and an organized way. So you work with the data, so with a lot of data. So when you have the data, so I want to work with a more organized way. And at the same time, it has to be looking very professional. So that is where we prefer going for the Excel tables. A table is a very powerful feature in Excel that groups your data together. So that means we can group a large amount of data into a single identifier, a single entity, thing called as a table. In Excel, it suppose multiple tables can be added in the same sheet. Okay. Now, the table has a lot of benefits. We'll look into some of the benefits of using the tables. So the first benefit, it says the tables are very easy to format. So we'll look into how we format the tables and how we work with the tables. Now, take an example. Here, I just have some sales data. Okay, we have some products, traders, executives, regions, and all these things. So let me convert this to a table. So right now it is with say like the data is in the form of ranges by default. So now I need to convert this into a table. So if you want to convert this particular data into a table, what is that we do is we get into this particular insert tab in your ribbon. Under the insert tab, you can see we have the table section where we have a pivot tables and all this thing. There we have this particular thing here called as a table. So we hit on this particular tables and a table that says it selects a particular contiguous range of data. And before telling you, confirming it, it says my table has a header. So that means my first row of the table is going to be considered as a header. So I just say, okay, consider that as a header. And I say, okay. As soon as I say, okay, you can see the whole table has changed the way that it is looking. So you can see the headers are showing the different colors. Okay, different backgrounds, text with bold and things, and every row, alternate row is showing with a different color, alternate row. This becomes more easy to read the contents and so on. Okay, so this is becomes very easy to format. Okay, just on a single click we do it. A shortcut way to create the table is Control plus T. That is, we use this particular thing here. The shortcut way to create the table is CTRL plus T. Okay, T for table. So this will just create the table. So that is a shortcut key to create a table, or we can just get to the insert and hit on the table. The table is being created. Now, when a table is being created, so you can see here, we get this additional tab on your ribbon called as a table tools. Under that, we have a design. When you hit on this particular design tab of the table tools, so you can see a table will be given with a name. Okay, so default name is given as table 1, 2, 3 sequence. I can rename the table for easy identification. Okay, is identifier. So I'll say this is a table which is containing the information about the sales. Let me give a name here as I say PBL sales. So it says it's a table for sales. So I have just renamed this particular table as table sales. Okay, so that it becomes easy for me when I'm writing the formulas and working with this particular range of table. Fine, I've just defined the name. Now, what happens is when I see this is very easy to format and all these things. So other benefits is when you later you want to add some particular additional column, the table will expand automatically. Okay, take an example. We have some rows over here. So we have 719 rows. You want to add a new rows here. So you just type the, so I just say tab here, automatically you can see a table gets expanded. Or say example, I have some set of data over here. So I want to add this data into my existing table. I'll just copy this particular data, get into this, I'll just paste it over here. So when I paste it, you can see when the table selection expands automatically. The table selection expands. Not only in this horizontal, even in vertical. Take an example, we have a sales quantity, we have a sales amount. Now I want to know the sales value. So if I have to calculate the sales value, I want to multiply the sales quantity into the sales amount. So I just want to say sales value. See, I just typed some values here. Automatically you can see header has come, a data has come, and let me apply the formula. I just say is equal to, I say the sales amount into the sales quantity. I'm just writing the formula. And when you see here, when you observe, there is a change in the formula. Before you used to use a cell reference with a combination of column name and the row number. So here it says in this particular table, it is looking for a sales amount and the sales quantity. As soon as I write this particular formula and you press enter key, what has happened? It has calculated the sales value for this particular row, but at the same time, automatically this particular formula has been expanded. So you can see it has been expanded for the complete of the whole table. So that means we have 1000 row. Okay, what are the rows are there? So for every row, we can see this has been done. So that means the formula is being calculated automatically. The table expansion has done automatically. So this is again a really awesome feature of your tables, where the tables gets expanded both vertically as well as horizontally. The table is getting expanded over here. Now the other feature is, see, when I apply a table, so you can see here in the headers we have this particular option here called as, this is we use mainly for the filters, is it? So you want to filter the data. Say example, I want to see only the South region sales. So what I do, I just hit on this. You get like a normal filter what you do in Excel. Yeah, I want to see only the South region sales. Fine, I just got only the South region sales. So by default, the filters are there. Or like say sometimes, you know, you have this particular data and I don't want the filters to be displayed, the filter icons to be displayed here. So again, I can get into the table design tab. In the table design tab, you can see we have a filter button. You can just uncheck this. So when you uncheck this, we can see the filter buttons are on. So when it is needed, you just get the filter button and you can just filter it. Like say example, I want only South region. So this is showing only the South region data and you don't want to see the filters. So you can see it is showing only the South region data. At the same time, the filter button also is being removed. Fine. So we can just easily remove the filter buttons or add the filter buttons. So when the filter buttons are added, very easily we can do the filterings. Fine. I'll just remove the filter and let me remove the filter button. Fine. Now, in this particular table, we can add the totals. So what are the totals? Like say example, we have a sales quantity. I want to know what is the total sales quantity. So we have a sales amount. What is the total sales amount? Okay. So if I want to get the total, so here again in the table design, so you can see we have something called the table row. Total row. So that is what happens is at the end of the tables, or a new row will be added. That is going to be a total row. I just hit on this. As soon as I hit on this, you can see a new row has been added, which is added in the very end. And you can see here, this particular thing, it says is the total of the overall sales has been given. So you want to know what is the total sales quantity. I can just drop down this and you can say what kind of totaling you want to have. I want to do the sum. I'll just say sum of this, or I want to find the average sales. I can go with the average sale. Let me go with the sum itself. What is that? See, fine. So this is telling me the total sum of sales amount, total sales quantity, the total sales value. So I'm able to get it. See, other thing what happens is when I add an additional row, I can see the total is getting expanded. Okay, it is getting after the table always. So I just say I want to add a new this one. So I just say I'll add one more product, say Dove's shampoo. So I'll just say some trader, I say sales executive, I just say ABC. Oh, no. Okay. I just say it's from South region. I say it's from Bangalore. As soon as I add this, you can see the totals are getting updated. So when you add the sales amount, okay, the totals, this also, and you can see that this was the calculated value, which has been updated automatically. Fine. So this happens automatically. This is a good feature of Excel. Apart from that, now we have another feature is, see, when I want this particular headings to be always visible. So in our regular Excel, what we do, we need to do some kind of a freezing. I want to freeze the first row to be there and the rest of the data should be flowing. So now here in the table, they are being freezed automatically. You don't have to do the freezing. When your data goes, okay, below the display, and you can see what has happened, this particular heading row has got adjusted to the columns. You can see it has got adjusted to the columns. Okay, products, tables, and all these things. The ABCD column names are gone, so it has got adjusted. So that means, so you're not doing any kind of freezing. So the headings are always visible, and if your whatever your view is there, which is going beyond the view area, it is scrolling down. So the headings gets automatically adjusted to the column headings of your Excel worksheet. Okay, so that means the headings are always visible. So it becomes very easy to read the data, feed the data, and all these things. Fine. Now, apart from this, see other things when I talk about feeding the data, so entering the data. So like when you have to enter the data, we always need to go to the end and then I need to say tab and then enter the data and all these things. Now, tables has this particular feature called as forms. Okay, so where I can easily add the data. So I'll just go to the form. I'll just have this form feature. So as soon as I go to the form, you can see a kind of a graphical form is being created for me, okay, which has all this option of deleting a record, searching a record, and things. So since I want to add a new row, I just hit on this new. You can see it says it takes me to a form where it is allowing me to add a new row. So I say I want to add a new product here. So example, say Horlicks. Okay, I just say I want to say biscuits. Okay, I just say a trader name. So I just say ABC trader. I say sales executive. Let me give my name. Fine. So region, I just say is the South region. So I say city, Bangalore. I just say sales quantity. How much sales has been done? I just say something around 5,000 sales. The sales amount, I say something like 65,000. And say transaction date when the transaction has happened. I just say 2020. So I just say, okay, I just say new record. You can see the record gets been added automatically and the totals have been applied automatically. So that means here it creates a form so where I can easily add the records, delete the records, I can move the records and all these things can be done very easily. So there is an empty row, I can want to delete it, yes, automatically gets updated. Okay, so you want to even search for any particular record. Okay, we can search it. So all these things can be done. So it by default creates a user interface form and it gives it for me and I can just work on this particular form. It becomes very easy to feed the data. Apart from all this particular feature, now Excel also, the tables also support slicer concept. Slicer is like, you want to filter the data. Okay, you want to see the data according to your requirements. Say example, I want to see in the South region only Hyderabad sales. Okay, so how do we do this particular filter? So we'll just look into this. So for this, we can do with the help of the slicer. So to add the slicer, I'll just again get into this particular table tools, the design tab. So I'll just go to the insert slicer. See, slicer can be added for any of the fields. So let me add it for the region and say city. Okay, so I'll just say this is my region and let me format this particular thing. So I just say I want to show in 2 columns and just go to 2 columns. Fine. So I have 4 regions and I'll just select the city here and here also let me go with multiple columns. This is okay, looks good. Fine. Now, what is that slicer we do is mainly used for filtering. So I want to see only the East region sales. As soon as I hit on the East, you can see in this, it says out of this four region, you have selected only the East region. So it is showing only the East region sales. You can see Bhubaneswar, Patna, and thing. I say North region, so you can see it is showing only the North region sale. So West, it is showing only West region. Say South, it is showing South region. And you can see this has been binded with each other. So when I say South, we can see what all this, what is here, the cities are there in South region that has been shown, the unique cities, what is there. I think one place I've given as BA instead of Bangalore. So it says Bangalore, Hyderabad, Vizag. So I just want to see the sales of Vizag. So you can see it says in the South, only Vizag. I want to see Hyderabad, fine, or Bangalore. That's fine. I think only one sale is there. So I want to see Bangalore and Hyderabad. So you can just hold on the control key and just select. So that means in the region I have selected the South, and from the South I'm just seeing only the Bangalore and Hyderabad sale. Okay, so it becomes very easy to filter the data, and I can see what exactly the filter is being done. Okay, with the help of this particular what is a slicer. So we have this particular slices, so which is supported. Okay, we can use when you're working with the tables. Yeah. So next as we'll see how do we use this some formulas on this particular this one. Now, so formulas is you want to do some kind of a calculations. So how do we do that particular calculation? So we can have a look into that. Sure. Now, what is that I want to do is I just want to know what is the total sales quantity. So how much of total sales or what is the sales amount? I just want to know the sum of sales amount. So I can just do like this. I can just say is equal to sum is a function for summing. And since, see, in traditional system, when you have thousands of rows, we need to say is equal to sum. We need to select this particular whole range of data. Was really a very tedious work thing. Now I'll just say I want to do the sales amount from the table sales. I refer to the table here. So what is the name of the table I've given? TBL sales. And in the sales table, so I say you refer to the various columns what is there. So I'm looking for the sales amount. I'll just save this and press it. So you can see this says the total sales amount, which has sum of all this particular sales value and says this is the total sales amount. So the way you write the formulas is you don't have to keep dragging and all this thing. You just say sum of the table name. In the table name, specify the column name. That's it. Okay. So you can see here. So 5670495. So when you see the sum here, this is a filtered one, so it has taken the total this one. So when you remove the filters, so you should be able to get it. I'll just clear it from the website. I think the same amount, 570 thing. So we got this particular sales amount. So is that easy to do the sum? What do you say? We just say is equal to sum of, what is that? I just say TBL sales. And in the table sales, refer to the column. So I'll just refer to the sales amount. So, and you are getting all the interlessons there. So it becomes very easy to do it. Now, let us do some, see, as I said, like, we can have multiple tables in a single sheet. Now, what I want to do is, I want to have a region and the total sales. Okay, so total sales amount. For the region wise, I want to see the total sales amount for the region wise. I'll just select this, I'll make this as a table, Control+T. So I just say this, fine. Now, let me give a region here. I just say we have the different regions here. Okay, let me say Control+T. My table has a header, fine. So it is a header. We have the regions here, North, South, East, West. Now I want to know what is the total sales that is happening in the North region, South region, East region, West region. So if I have to find that, what is that we do? So we need to use this particular sum F. That means I need to do the summing based on the criteria that is region matching to this particular value. So what I do, I'll just say is equal to, I say sum F. So first is the range of data where you want to apply the criteria. So I need to apply the criteria on the region. So I'll just say table sales. And in the table sales, refer to the region. Fine. And then that is my range, criteria range. And the criteria, I will look for this North region. And the summing range. The summing range is nothing but the sales amount from the TBL sales. I'll say TBL sales of sales amount. Fine. So that's it. And as soon as I enter, so you can see this tells me what is the total sales in the North region, South region, East region, West region. See, you don't have to do a subtotals or you don't have to do a pivot table or things. So in no time, you can just create this particular thing. So we just use the sum function to calculate this particular total in the each region wise. Fine. So this is how we can have multiple sheets, and this is how we can do this particular formula. See here, when I'm writing the formulas on a very huge amount of data, you don't have to focus on the table. You don't have to drag and drop, select and all those things. So you can just call it with those particular names and we can do it. And this particular formula is also, it's very readable. So it says the range. So what is the range on which you're trying to do the total? So I'm trying to do the summing based on the range. That is your region is my criteria range. And my criteria is at the rate region. So it is referring to this particular region. And the summing, I'm trying to do the sum based on from the TBL sales again to the sales amount. But you can see this is referring to the same table, but the region and the sales amount, they are referring to the TBL sales. Fine. So this is the benefits of using this particular tables. Not only that, see, like, we have a table and based on this particular table, you can create a pivot table or a pivot chart. And so generally what happens is whenever you create a pivot table or things, so when your data gets expanded, So your pivot table, we need to change the what is it, data source range, and we need to expand that range. Otherwise, the new data will not be included. But when the data is in the form of a table, so the expansion will not happen automatically, and your pivot tables and charts will get automatically updated. I think we can just have a look of how we can create a pivot table based on this particular table. I just focus on this table. I'll just get into the insert pivot table. See, before it used to select this particular range. Now it is selecting based on the TBL cell. That is my table. And I'll just say, okay, fine. A pivot table has been created where it shows me the layout. So I want to see, let us see like region wise, what is the total sales amount. So you can see we have got the same values as we have. So the same data as we saw here. So 17897. So that is for the 17897. Fine. So we have got the same values. Now, if I do any changes, that means if I add any row or any column to this particular things, or you do any changes here, instead of 65,000, or like if you are expanding mainly. So if I just say, let me add this particular two rows once. Okay, I just expanded. So when it is expanded, you can see this particular table has already got expanded. So that is the data based on the south region. The south value would have been changed. So before it was different, now it is different. Fine. So it automatically gets updated. Table gets automatically deleted. So instead of south, I just say changes to so I just say it's in north region. So you can see here, yeah. So it has some values added in the north. We need to refresh this particular data. So that's it. So it gets updated. But when I refresh automatically, that means I don't have to see in the previous this one. What we used to do is we used to go to the change data source and we used to reselect the data. So here we don't have to do that kind of a reselections. Okay. So when you create a chart or a pivot table or something, like when the data gets expanded, your charts will be automatically updated. Your pivot table will be automatically updated. Yeah, this is some of the benefits of using tables in Excel.